Hey everybody, welcome back to Peachy Disc Golf. Today I am here at the field in order to do a little test flight video to give you my initial impressions of the newest disc in Paige Pierce's lineup of discs with Discraft. We're talking about the brand new Drive distance driver. Let's see how this thing flies. All right, well, I am super excited to be here to try out the new Paige Pierce Drive, the newest distance driver in Discraft's lineup of discs. The numbers for this disc are 11.5, -1.2, which are actually pretty nice distance driver numbers for people with lower arm speeds like myself. So I always, if I do throw a distance driver, I do tend to gravitate towards these 11 speed discs, if at all, because when you're looking at max distance drivers, you're probably looking at 12 speed discs like the Destroyer, or if you're looking at Discraft, maybe the Paul McBeth Zeus here, 12.5, -1.3. You grab one of these from the store, go out to the course to try it out, and this happens. Just a complete meat hook of a disc. So that's where 11 speeds really come into play, and they really excite me a lot because I am definitely able to usually get a good bit more distance, a little straighter flight with 11 speeds. So I'm really excited to give this a test. Obviously, we have the Zeus, but I do have some other distance drivers to compare it to. In the Discraft lineup, we have the Scorch here, which is probably the most similar disc that I have to the new Drive. This is 11.6, -2.2, so just a tick more understable. Really excited to see how these two discs compare. And then another disc that I brought out along with the Zeus is another disc from the Paul McBeth lineup. We have the Discraft Hades here, 12.6, -3.2, so a really understable disc. So if you've seen the channel, you know I have a lower arm speed, so we'll sort of see which of these distance drivers can I get the most distance with. But I am really excited to try out this new Drive here and check out this sweet ThrowJoe's disc die. Love the work that he does. So you already saw the Zeus. Let's give the rest of these discs a toss and we'll go back through a couple times. Really looking forward to it. First throw with the new Drive. So first off, how does this disc feel in the hand? The 11 speed rim is just so much more comfortable to me than the 12 speed rim, which is going to be a little bit wider. I'm able to get a nice, good power grip, nice and comfortable. It's decently flat. There's not a lot of dome to it, so I do like that as well. I prefer flatter discs over domey discs, but that does mean it might not have as much glide as some of your domier distance drivers, like for example the Scorch that I have. Definitely a bit domier. Let's see if I can get out of the way. You can sort of see the Scorch is definitely a little bit domier than the Drive. First throw here with the Drive. Ooh, it's still pretty stable actually. I think that actually went about the same distance as the Zeus. Now I did kind of early release it. I sort of lost my grip there. I wasn't able to keep my grip closed the whole way through. That's something I'm working on actually. I do find myself letting go of the disc, which I know can sacrifice some spin and some distance. Try out the Scorch now. Let's see if I can get a good throw. Oh, that definitely had a little more turn. Better release. Looks like it went a little further as well because of that. So Scorch is pretty nice. And then last up here for the Discraft lineup here that we're trying out, we have the Hades. This Hades is actually pretty flat as well, so pretty comfortable, but the wider rim, while it doesn't feel like uncomfortable in my hands by any means, I do prefer the narrower rim width of the 11 speed drivers. So here we go with the Hades here. All right, not bad. Got a little flip out of it. Just warming up here. First throws, I've been on site all week, just warming up. So we're gonna gather those again. Let's get into some real tests now. All right, so I got all the discs. They were all pretty much in the same spot. The Drive was actually the least far of the group, but I definitely let go of it early. I was not able to get a full power throw on it. So we'll start with the Drive, then we'll do the Scorch second. We'll follow that up with the Zeus, and then the Hades. It's pretty much no wind right now, which is really nice. It's been pretty breezy here in Georgia lately, but right now a nice calm day. There's definitely a storm coming. You feel a little bit of sprinkles coming in here and there. Starting off with a Drive. That was a much better throw. It carries pretty straight, but still has pretty good overstability. Like, that is not a straight flyer for me by any means. And that's just because with my slower arm speed, anytime I throw a distance driver, it's gonna have decent overstability, even if I throw like a pretty flippy one a lot of times, like you see with the Hades. If I'm throwing a max weight Hades, it's still gonna have some bite back because distance drivers are just gonna naturally fade if you don't have the right arm speed and spin on it, which I certainly do not. That was actually a pretty nice little flight there. So let's see, now we're gonna try the Scorch. If we can get a similar release, that will be a nice comparison. This should have a little more flip, a little more drift to the right. That one slipped out of my hands also. That's so annoying. I cannot get my grip consistent anymore. I don't know what's up with that. So I definitely let go of that one a little bit early this time, but you can still see I put a little bit of Anheuser on it and it held that turn for a good bit. That's just that little bit of extra understability with the Scorch, but still very reliable fade at the end, even on a little bit of Anheuser. All right, so next up we're going with the Zeus. Yeah, look at how much more overstable that disc is. Whew. Still got some decent distance out of it. It does actually carry a bit straighter than I expect it to. Every time I throw like a Destroyer, for example, it immediately arcs over to the left. But the Zeus does carry straight. It's very overstable at the end though. Last up, the Hades here. Oh yeah, you can see that understability in the Hades is definitely there. It definitely drifted a good bit to the right, but still, again, 12-speed driver, very overstable at the end. Let's go see where those ended up. All right, well, this is pretty interesting here. So over to the left, we have the Scorch, and then right here to the right, we have the Drive. Both of these went pretty much exactly the same distance. Now again, the Scorch, I did feel like I didn't get a good release on it, so I think I can probably squeeze out a little more distance if I were to keep my grip strength. But if we look over here, both of the 12 speeds actually went a little bit further. So that's actually surprising. Usually for me with distance drivers, all of my drivers, regardless of speed, tend to go the same distance. I might have gone 10 to 15 feet further with the 12 speeds, which is what's supposed to happen. They're supposed to go a little further. I'm just actually surprised that I was able to get that to happen this run, because usually they all sort of go the same distance. Let's go give them a couple more throws. We're starting with the Drive first. Got to try to get good consistent grip pressure with all of these so we can have like an honest comparison. Again, this is just going to be my initial opinions of this disc. I do plan on going out to a course and maybe doing sort of like a Paige Pierce video where I use this, the Passion and the Fierce in one round, and I'll be able to get a more definitive thought on this disc once I'm able to shape some shots with it. As of right now, it's pretty interesting. I definitely expected it to go a little bit straighter than it is. It still has pretty decent stability, pretty comparable to the Scorch. Hopefully we can get two consistent releases between both of those discs and see how they truly compare to each other. But yeah, pretty interesting. Let's see how it goes with this wave here. Yeah, that's got some pretty beefy stability. I am pretty surprised at how overstable that this disc is flying. I definitely thought it would carry a bit straighter. Here we go with the Scorch. That was a much better release with the Scorch. I did put it a bit on Anheuser. Similar distance again to the Drive, I think. Maybe a little further because I did get it on Anheuser, but I did have good grip strength this time. It did pan a good bit over to the right. Still good stability at the end. And let's see, can we go further again one more time with the 12 speed? So we'll start with the Zeus here. Yeah, the Zeus and the Drive seem like they have very similar shapes in their shots, at least. Neither of them are drifting to the right at all. They do both carry straight for a bit, but they have pretty strong overstable finish. Let's do the Hades. Oh, that Hades has really nice drift to the right. That is definitely the farthest of the group, I'm pretty sure. So along with these Discraft drivers, I really wanted to also compare them to some other 11 speeds that I regularly throw. We have the Wave and the Photon. So the Photon is my go-to overstable driver, and the Wave is a little bit flippier. It'll still have a nice overstable finish, Both of these are lightweight fission plastics. I have the Wave here in 167. The Photon here is in 165. For comparison, most of my disc golf drivers are max weight, but that drive is actually 169 grams. So a little bit more than both of these, but not by too much. Let's see if we can get a little more distance with both of these being a little bit lighter. And also I do find that these MVP drivers just feel a little bit better than most drivers. We'll start with the Photon actually, the more overstable of the two, and also the Wave as well. That's pretty nice. That actually looks like it went about the same distance as pretty much all of those Discraft drivers. And that's actually to be expected because it is pretty overstable. I can definitely throw that one into a headwind I found. It'll carry nice and straight, still fade off to the left. We should be able to squeeze out a little bit more though with the Wave. Pretty nice. So let's go see where all those discs wound up and how they all compare. All right, once again, the drive for me was the shortest of the group. Photon not too far past it, but again, that's to be expected. It's supposed to be pretty overstable, but surprisingly, again, I'm getting more distance with the Zeus and the Hades. This time the Scorch though, out driving both of those. We also have the Wave over here, outpacing the Photon and the Drive, just a hair short of the distance drivers over here, but not by too much. All right, well, surprisingly, that is the second time that the Drive got outpaced by my 12-speed drivers. I definitely thought that this was gonna carry straighter and further, especially than the Zeus, with it being an overstable 12-speed. I'm really surprised about that. We're gonna give all of these discs one more toss here, going back down the field this way. All right, we'll start with the Drive first. Ooh, I put that on a bit of hyzer there. Decent distance, but Scorch. Oh, I shanked that to the right. Oh, that carried pretty far though. Pretty straight. A little more distance out of that one. All right, Photon now. Wave next. Yeah, hyzer flip on that one. Nice. Oh, the Wave, that's definitely the furthest so far. Okay, Zeus. Pretty similar to the Drive. Got the Hades. A little bit. Definitely harder to flip than the Wave. But here is the secret that they don't want to tell you. Actually, everyone wants to tell you this. It's the truth usually. A lot of times I've been saying that these discs sort of go the same distance for me, all these 11 speeds. And even if I disc down to something like the Paige Pierce Passion here, 8.5 -1.1, I bet I can get this just as far. It'll probably be a bit straighter. It won't have as much fade. When you have a lower arm speed like myself, we don't even need to use distance drivers at all. So we're gonna throw the Passion here. Let's see if we can get it out to the same distance as these distance drivers. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's at least just as far as the Drive, the first throw that I had. We'll go see how it compares. Okay, so these results are not too surprising. Here's the trees we were throwing towards. We got the Drive is the shortest of the group again. This time the Photon I thought was gonna be right next to it. We're a good 10 feet ahead. Zeus, another 5 feet ahead as well. Scorch I definitely released a bit late, so I probably got a little extra distance for it. That's way back there. That's the farthest disc of the group. But on like a true golf line though, the Wave here, hyzer flip. But like I said, the thing that did not surprise me here, the Passion. Just as far as pretty much all of these drivers, the Wave here is only like 2-3 feet further. Got the Hades over here also. You do not need to bag distance drivers. Don't feel like you're missing out on anything if you don't have any in your bag. I do bag a couple. I know in my head I don't need to bag any of them. Sometimes I can squeeze out a little extra distance, like even here, I did think both this Passion and the throw with the wave were pretty solid. If this was a par 3 and the basket is right there, I'm only that much closer with the wave. Honestly, it is a pretty marginal difference here. So final test flight here. We're gonna slim it down though. We're going with the drive, we're going with the wave, and we're going with the Passion. We're gonna throw all of these one last time, see how they compare, and let's see, like, can I actually get the drive to go further than either of these? Because as of right now, this one has always come up short, so. Okay, got a little anhyzer on that to give it a little more of an S shape. Don't really have to do that with the wave. Yeah, pretty nice. That was actually a good deal flatter, I felt like, than the throw with the drive. Nice drift to the right. I love the wave. Here we go with the Passion. Oh, that's into the woods. Oh, just barely. So I released the Passion a little too wide. It wasn't really a late release. I definitely just aimed wrong. But since we're sort of going in this diagonal direction here, we got the Passion here. The wave definitely went further. The drive is over here. I think if we're looking at it from the angle here, it's tough to say. I think the drive technically went a hair further, but the Passion is so close. Even on a really bad release, I got really close to going the same distance. All right, so what do I think of the drive? Honestly, I'm pretty surprised with this disc. I really thought that this disc was gonna just carry nice and straight, dependable overstability still. This disc, for some reason, it just does not want to stay in the air for me. The main reason, obviously, for that is going to be because it is an 11-speed driver, and I definitely have a pretty slow arm speed. So if you have intermediate to good arm speed, you might actually have pretty good use with this disc. I know I've seen some other reviews, like Swanky did a video with the drive, and they loved it. So if you have higher arm speed, you actually really might enjoy this disc. But if you have a low arm speed like myself, I do want to pick up one again when they do a stock release of the disc. I do find sometimes when they have like wide releases, the flight characteristics will change. I mean, obviously that goes for all disc manufacturers. From run to run, discs might become more or less understable, more or less glidey. Once they have a wide stock release, I do want to revisit this disc. Again, like I said, I was planning on doing at some point like a Paige Pierce challenge where we would use this, we'd use the Passion, and we'd use the Fierce, and sort of have a 3-disc challenge, play 9 holes using only those discs. But for right now, I do not plan on bagging the drive. And this video has once again shown me, I've done this a few times now, fairway drivers are the way to go for me. And if you have low arm speed, it might be something you want to consider as well, because I'm getting very similar distances with this Passion to both my wave and my drive here. The wave, I've been consistently getting a little bit further, maybe 10 to 20 feet further, not a lot of distance. I do plan probably to still bag, say, the wave or the Photon. If I am bagging a distance driver, it is going to be on the understable side. But something like the drive here doesn't really have a place in my bag. I just do not have the arm speed for it. I would much rather use that slot for something like neutral to understable fairway 9 speed even. And usually with something like that, I'm able to get very similar distances to all of my distance drivers. So yeah, I was actually pretty surprised with the drive. It's not a bad disc by any means. It feels great. ESP plastic is great premium plastic. I do like how flat the disc feels. It feels great in the hand. And it does have like a nice, dependable, overstable flight. So if it was a little bit, I do kind of wish it was a little bit windier here to give this a test into like a headwind, for example, and see how it holds up. That actually might be a good slot for this, because this honestly was getting comparable distance and shot shape to, say, my Photon. But yeah, pretty surprised with this disc. Not something that's going to go in my bag. I am interested to see how like the disc reacts once it does have that wide stock release. So you'll definitely want to subscribe to the channel because that video will be coming out once those discs are released. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this little initial review video, be sure to give this one a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments if you've had a chance to try out the Drive. If you're a lower arm speed player like myself, have you found that this disc also to be pretty overstable for what you thought? If you have a higher arm speed, do you really enjoy the Drive? Is it a disc that you're looking forward to trying out? I'd love to hear from you guys down in the comments below. And also, don't forget to ring that notification bell so you can be notified when our next episode comes out. Until next time, guys, cheers.